Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, somewhere, wherever you may be. Thank you for watching. It's been a while since I've actually put something up and I sort of forgot how to do this, but let's just see if it can run well. Remind me if you can. There's someone to talk to about what I just said in the intro. All right, so as normal, just a reminder, if you any chance you could be offended by my opinions, then move on now. If you aren't going to be offended, then welcome and stay. Go to the end. Thumbs up, please. Share it. No, share it. Subscribe and notifications. And I'll try and remember to say that later on. But, old man, I'll probably forget. Anyway, just going back to that intro, I find it really interesting that we can say good morning, and that's an introduction or a hello. We can say good afternoon, and that's another hello, welcome, nice to see you, and good evening, and that's the same. Why is it that good night is a farewell? Why is it? Why is that? It's a little bit of a theme for today. I guess we're looking at words and what they mean and why they change and how they vary a little bit. But if I say to you good morning, you'll say good morning, and that's a hello. It's a welcome. But good night is like a goodbye. But yeah, anyway, just had a little bit of a tangent thought then as we were going through. So today, there's a few things I want to have a little talk about, and I'm going through podcasts in my head every morning with my guy I'm working with, Big G, and that's been pretty cool. We should be doing those probably live every morning, but anyway, we don't. So I want to look at a few little things. I want to look at relationships, words, and how they're, in my world misused, and the Pareto Distribution. I've been using this distribution, believe it or not, for 30 years or more, maybe longer, not even knowing there was such things as a Pareto distribution. It's the 80-20 rule. I want to talk a little bit about that too, if I have time. So on that, and of course, the last one is the 7 deadly sins. Because one of those words just never really works well for me. Anyway, so we'll start. Relationships that we are all in, regardless of whether it's with a partner, as in husband and wife, or it's a work relationship, being a work colleague, a friend relationship, or a friend that you have that's near or dear, and of course, the relationships you have with yourself. So these relationships are important to know that you're in them all of the time, regardless of what you think or say. You can't help but be in a relationship. So if you think you're a hermit living out by yourself, you're still in a relationship with yourself. So get over it, deal with it. So for me, I'm going to take this into now a partnership relationship with friends. So there's another person involved in this. So I use the story a little bit about a yacht, and the physical yacht is a representation of your relationship. So, and there's two people sailing this yacht because it's a small yacht, and these two people have things they have to do on the yacht to make the yacht sail. So generally in smooth sailing, when it's really crystal calm and you want to do nothing, just relax and take it easy, that's the time on a yacht where you do most of the maintenance, where you get underneath and clean the stuff off, the barnacles off the bottom, and you climb the mast and you do all the rope repairs, and you make sure everything, the galley is all clean and tidy and everything's tied down ready for that moment, as you know will happen when the sea starts to get a little rough. When the sea starts to get a little rough, you know for sure that the hull's safe, the ropes are good, everything's tied down, and you're not overly concerned by that little rough patch. But sometimes that sea gets so overwhelming that it's completely all over the shop, and there's things flying left and right, and it goes everywhere. In a yacht, each person in that yacht has specific tasks they have to do and what they're good at. So let's say, I know for myself, for example, I don't like climbing masts. I'm not really good at it, and maybe I'm a little afraid of heights, and that's okay. But my wife, for example, she loves to do that sort of shit. So she'd shimmy up the mast and she'd tie everything down and get everything going. And where I don't mind going in the water and cleaning the hull because sharks, I don't care. So in the job of maintenance in this beautiful still area, my wife goes up and climbs the mast. I go underneath and I do that job. Now, in a relationship, in a partnership at home, you could take that into Well, just to finish that story, the only way a yacht will fail in that ship sailing, whether it's rough or calm, is if one person doesn't pull their weight. So you can't have one person, my wife, as I'm sitting back there enjoying a beer and reading a book, that she climbs the mast and fixes that and also goes underneath and cleans the barnacles. That's an out of balanced relationship. So, and that would be reversed if I was climbing the mast, even though I didn't like it and I was scared, and she was sitting down reading a book and sunbaking or doing whatever she would do. So in a relationship, there are the same things that happen in your home. So it may be that my wife is confident and she knows that I can climb that mast if I really, really have to. Like if I'm really, really sick and I can't do it, just as confident as I am, she can go underneath and clean the hull if I'm really, really sick. But generally, I do my job, she does her job. And that could be absolutely anything. In that there are shared duties in a home, as there is in sailing the yacht, that are done by both people. And they're the shared duties we need to focus on. Right? So instead of focusing, that leads to another thing today. How about that? Anyway, at home, I mow the lawn. I could quite confidently say, almost 100% guarantee, that my wife in this house we're in right now has never picked up a whippersnapper, has never mowed the lawn, like ever. And I'm okay with that. I don't go out there and mow the lawn and go, geez, I wish my bloody wife had mowed this lawn. Christ, she just sits in there and does what she does. She just doesn't mow the lawn. And then I get bitter and I get annoyed and twisted and horrible. I come in frustrated, and where for me, mowing the lawn is meditative. Like I quite enjoy it. I get a chance to relax, listen to music or a podcast, a nice book. And I know there's tasks in the house here that my wife does that I don't do. And it's not because I can't. And it's not because my wife doesn't like to do the lawn, doesn't that she can't do the lawn. It's just that that's my job. And in the house, there's jobs that she does that are her jobs. And she, again, the same, gets quite a bit of meditation out of it and feels comfortable and good and likes the result at the end. So I don't believe she sits there and does what she does and gets upset with me because I'm not helping her do what she does. It's like, okay, I don't get it. Like, anyway, so when you look at being back in the house, and there are so many duties in the house that we share together. Like generally our rule is if you cook, you don't do the dishes. I don't like the dishwasher. I like to do the dishes and get them done. So I'll do the dishes if my wife cooks. And then sometimes she'll do the dishes, even though she's cooked. And there's nothing said between us. There's nothing wrong with that. I might help out. Like I'll clean the shower, the bathroom, toilet, and she'll vacuum, or all of those sorts of things are shared duties. So when you look at how a relationship functions, if you can determine yourself what is the responsibilities you are going to take and what the responsibilities your partner is going to take, and you just do those with no annoyance, with no frustration or anger, no resentment for them not helping you, you just do it. Already the tasks of your yacht in that beautiful time is going to be done. So when it gets a little bit rough and nasty, you don't hold anything against your partner. I think that's pretty important. So using that to step into the next little bit of that, why is it that in that example, and I said with the lawn mowing, if I was the sort of person to get annoyed with that, then I'll focus on that and I'll selectively choose to forget the 900 things that my wife does that are absolutely fantastic. I'll focus on that one thing that annoys me. And when you're meeting someone for the first time, now I haven't done that for a long time. I guess this is what I did. And I'm hoping all of you have been in long-term relationships. And if not, you will find this when you step into your next one. You look at someone and you go, wow, they've got 9, 10 things, qualities and assets about themselves that are there. And one of them annoys you. But the other 9 are just absolutely fantastic. Why is it that people focus on that one thing that lets go all of those 9? Surely if you're focused on the 9 things that are really good, that one becomes irrelevant. Those of you on welcome Kookaburra and Big G. So I guess if you were to, in the comment, just tell me what you think of that aspect and whether you think that you need to focus on the negative, and if you do, why do you, and not look at all of the wonderful traits that these people have. And if you were to do that, do you think it would make a difference to the one thing that you don't like? And I don't know, I can't give an example because I don't know that I actually do that. Maybe, I don't know, your partner puts the toilet paper on the wrong way, like, back, front, who cares? Whichever one they do, it's opposite to the way you do it, and it annoys you, and you hold on to that feeling. The toothpaste is left off, or they squeeze it from the middle and not from the bottom, or who knows? There's trivial little things that people hold on to that, to me, mean their relationship is never going to be anything. Because if you hold on to that shit, then you're not really in a relationship. You're in a stalemate of holding on until that little thing pisses you off so much that you get frustrated and you leave. Anyway, just got to trails this one and take responsibility for your shit and move on. But one thing I'll say, and I can 100% say this with complete certainty, that for the last 30 years, maybe longer, maybe 40 years, I've never given flowers to any of my partners, ever. And I will never do it. And my wife loves flowers, and I won't give them to her. I believe that giving flowers is a new thing. I think it's a marketing trend to make money, and go for it, guys. Make money. That's fine. But I believe that long time ago, before the marketing machine juggernaut set forward onto the world, a woman would have been happy if the man just fucking came home. She would have been so raptured that he was out there doing his stuff for 3 years, fighting a war, and he came home. I almost guarantee he didn't come home with a bunch of flowers. He came home with himself and the love for his wife and his family. And that, should be enough. Flowers, as soon as you cut the flower away from where it's naturally come from, it is dead. It starts to die. It may look really, really good as soon as it's like you let it grow to that point and you go, I'm going to cut it now. And it's beautiful. The flowers look lush, smell nice, makes the thing look really good, but it's dying. As soon as you cut it, it's dying. So you cut it at its prime, take it back to your partner, man or woman, who gives a shit, and you're giving them something that is already dead. And it looks good. The next day, one little leaf falls off. Then the day after that, 2 fall off, and then the colour starts to wilt, and the green starts to fade, and everything turns to shit. And in the very end, what do you do with it? You pick it up and you chuck it in the bin. I think, just me, say whatever you like, and I, don't care. I believe that's what's happening to the world in the relationship mind, or the relationship mindset. I think women expect flowers, they get the flowers, and symbolically the flowers are dead, and they know they're going to die. And I think that's how they take their relationship. I think men who do that are just pandering to a whim of a marketing juggernaut and don't really understand that a flower is already dead. And if you give someone something, give them something that represents you as the sort of person you are. Flowers. So okay, I don't know much about flowers, so you can tell me in the comments what's right. But I would give my wife what represents me, the sort of person that I think I am in a flower form, and that would be a cactus. Yes, and you may laugh, and yes, I can be a prick. However, I'm extremely low maintenance, and cactuses are extremely low maintenance. So yes, look at it. There's a flower on it. It looks beautiful when it's in season. Get too close and it'll fucking bite you. But I am so low maintenance that I believe a cactus represents my personality. In the comments, tell me what sort of flower you think you would be, and how that makes you feel, and how you think if you were to give that to your partner. They need to do some work with it, right? That's the thing about giving something alive in a pot plant. If they want the relationship to work, if they want that plant to survive, they've got to put some work into it, and you leave it with them. And you'll know where you stand in that relationship if after a year that the plant's dead and they've chucked it out, reasonably saying they're not prepared to put a little bit of work into maintaining you as the person you are. Anyway, my opinion. All right, moving on. Thanks for the comments, guys. I can't read it because I don't have my glasses on. I should put them on. Hang on. You can tell me if I look smart. No. Anyway, so quickly, because we have to. I've got work to do. But I love this. I love chatting with you guys. I'm actually chatting with myself and you guys looking. I don't know if that's the right thing to say there, but anyway. So there's some words that I find in my martial art teachings that I try to get people to avoid saying. And I'll just run through them. There's only 4 or 3 really, and the 4th one's something that I have a bit of a gripe about. But can't is the first word. In my dojo, the word can't was never used. If anyone used that word, they were just doing push-ups until I was tired of watching them. So they made every effort not to say that. A simple thing would be, I asked them to do a particular kick and they go, I can't do that. So push-ups, and I'd say to them while they're doing the push-ups, you've given up. You haven't even tried. You don't even know if you can do it. How about you say something like, I've never done that. I'm not sure if I can do it, but I'll give it a go. And then they'll know they find it difficult. Then they say, Jan, I found that really difficult. If I practice, I think I might be able to get it. Now that to me is an empowering way of saying something over the simple word of can't. Back into the relationship side of things, the words you say to your partner, the words they say to you, and the words you say to yourself are really empowering to where you can and can't be. Can't. The word can't, if you say it to yourself, you know in yourself you've given up before you've even started, before you even try and do something. So I would ask everyone out there who's looking and thinking and saying is that the word can't needs to be taken out of the vocabulary. And as Daph just said then, the comparison of the word can't really means won't. And that's them making that choice. So they need to be specific with their words. Instead of saying, I can't do it, they need to say, you're right, Daph, I can't do that. Instead of saying that, they need to say, I won't do that. But I think in saying that just out loud, it almost means that I think they want to do it, but they have so much hesitation and insecurity that they believe in themselves that they use that word can't because they're unable to. So it's not quite won't. Won't's a little bit more defiant. Anyway, so use the words differently to yourself. So I would like you to try and say, or make the effort to say, yeah, this is going to be difficult. I'm going to do my best to get a good result. And instead of saying, oh, I can't do that, or I won't do that. So work on that, because it's important what you say to yourself as well as what you say to others. One thing that I found in relationship arguments, and we've all had them, and if you haven't had one, then you haven't been in a relationship. Not really, because relationships are part of this, and arguments are part of a relationship. The words never and always. You've had that thrown at you, I'm almost 100% sure. You never put the dishes away. You never put the toilet paper on the right way. You're always arguing with me. You always think you're right. I never do that. I'm always doing this. We hear it all the time. We're even guilty, I'm sure, of saying it. But really, if you actually own your shit, Trails, get that down there. If you actually own that and you realize, well, actually, yeah, yesterday you did do that. And I actually, yeah, I did that yesterday too. So really those words in that sort of an argument set, I don't believe need to ever be said. Because in this particular moment, now you can clarify the word and make it bigger. And I don't want to have to say, do you mean in this particular moment or like always? Because I know I should take that for granted that it is only in this particular moment. But no, when you're in an argument, you need to own the way you speak to the person you're arguing with and not make allegations like you never do this. And you're always doing that. Because in an argument, when you say that in a heated term and a heated word, the first thing I'm going to do is defend myself because I'm being attacked. And I'm going to come into this with the same defense back. And I'll go, like, really, yesterday when I did that, it was never. And then that just makes the argument worse. So the person who has the gripe in the argument needs to be the responsible person and take that argument to the person in a tone and a way that is not going to attack them, is going to get their message across. So for my mind, the words never and always in an argument mustn't be used because that's an attack. You never do this. I'm always doing that is just fuel for the fire of the argument. When a man comes in and says that, the woman defends herself almost instantly. And the same if a woman comes in, the man doesn't. And that's no way to resolve a conflict. Don't come and say you're always doing this and I'm never doing that. And I don't think that's anything else but real across the individual relationship in self. Like as I'm talking to myself, oh, you always do that, David. You're an idiot. Like, why would you say that to yourself? Oh, I can't do that. I'm just, just hopeless. And that's just food for your brain that makes you really understand that aspect of yourself as being negative and down and insecure. And that steps out into a family relationship. That steps out into a country, or a community, a country, and even to a nation. We can look at around the world. The most insecure nations are the ones that are always accusing people of doing things that they were not doing. And the person being accused of the team or the nation being accused is just going to defend themselves. And that's just, look at it. Look around the world. Just look at it. The insecure nations are the ones that are attacking the most confident and the successful nations. And the successful nations fight back. And then the other people say, well, why are you doing that? And inside of a relationship as well. If I can't really remember the last time my wife and I had an argument. We had them at the beginning, sorting out the ground rules. But then if I was the strong one in that relationship and my wife was the other way around, she was a strong one in the relationship and I was the little bit insecure one, her friends would say, you need to be a little bit more compassionate to David because he's having a moment. Like, really? Why? Like, I'm doing the attacking. Why shouldn't she have the right to slap me down for being stupid? Like, really? That's how a relationship needs to be. So that one person in a relationship can bring the other one in reins, pull them back and control that a little bit. Anyway, that's a round of that. Never and always take them out of your vocabulary in an argument, not believing it should be done. Okay, so this one, I love playing with this. It's a play on words in my mind, but I believe this, and no offense to the Americans, it's an Americanism that the Australians are taking on that I believe are really sad. Even educated people do it. And I'm not so sure whether I'm right or I'm wrong, but the word take, used in context in my English, and this is just my English, is I'll take something to school and then I'll bring that thing home. Take and bring. I don't bring something to school, and then when I'm at school, I won't be at school, so I'm bringing that home with me. I don't believe that's the way the words are used. I'll take it to school and I'll bring it home because I'm here now, and take is what I'm going to do and bring is a future tense. I'm going to bring that back. When I'm at school, I'm taking it home with me, and then tomorrow I'll bring it back. I think that's how those two words are used. So correct me if I'm wrong. You guys are a lot more smarter than me. And Dav, sorry, just get back on that a little bit. You should never use the word never because never means it's going to happen. I agree. And always do that. Good on you. But anyway, distracted me. So the word take, I believe in that text, is used incorrectly. But I think it's used more incorrectly in the most common things like, I'm going to take a shower, or I'm going to take a leak, or I'm going to take a pee, or whatever it is. I'm going to take a walk. Like, where the fuck are you going to take that walk? You have a walk. You go for a walk. I'm going to have a shower. I'm not going to take a shower. Like, shit, man, really? Where the hell are you going to take it? I don't even know where that came into vocabulary and how it was ever used. I don't know why it decides that's going to be the way it's used. And every time someone says it, this is my frustration. It grates me. I'm not taking a shower. I'm having a shower. I'm going to have a shower. I'm not going to take a shower. I'm not going to take a walk. I'm going for a walk. It's easy to do that. I'm going for a walk. Oh, that's nice. I'm taking a walk. Like, fucking where? Where are you taking? Taking a walk. I'm taking something with me. I'm not taking a walk. Like, you have a walk. Anyway, take that. Misused. Take a shower. I'm not going to take a break. Fuck, I'm going to have a break. I'm going for a break. Because it's just really simple English. On simple English, why? I'm asking this not because of judgment, but why are there 27 letters in the Australian alphabet now? And you might ask yourself the question, why is this so? And you want to know what the 27th letter is. There's a song that went around years ago in American Sesame Street that sing the alphabet song and A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm not going to sing because I'm tone deaf. All the way down to the very last two letters of the alphabet. And we get to 25 and that's Y. And then you get to the very last letter and is it Z or is it Z? And I in Australia, when the kids sing X, Y, Z, I say Z. And they go X, Y, Z, Z, because there's 27 letters in the alphabet, because Z is not an Australian way of saying the letter Z. And I'm asking the question, why? And I know language morphs and change over time. Why is it Z in the Northern American continent, and we're adopting that, of course, here in Australia? Why is it Z? What word actually begins with Z, and that sounds like, and tell me, because if I can find them. The only one I get is zebra, but we say zebra, and we say zoo. How do the Americans say zoo? Z, z, not Z, zoo, Z, Z. It's end, Z. So all those rules, all those things, 27 letters in the alphabet until we can work out which one it's going to be, and then we're going to use it. And in my lifetime, it's only ever going to be Z. So I'm sorry for those who get offended. And when people tell you, when the boys and anyone, the children tell me I've got to go because it's Z, I go, what, C? They go, no, Z. I go, G. They go, what? E? No, it's Z. It's easy. No other letter does it really distinguish between that. It's just Z. So last one, Z. Anyway, moving on, because I'm spending too much time on shit. Okay, so the Pareto distribution. Those of you who understand and know the Pareto distribution, I don't know if that's how you say it, but P-A-R-E-T-O, Pareto distribution. I've heard some people pronounce it Pareto, and maybe that's the correct way. So, please tell me, because, don't know, probably don't care either. Anyway, that roughly says there's an 80-20 rule, and it pretty much says that 80% of the output is done by 20% of the input. So if there are a bunch of employees, there's 100 people in a workplace, 20% of the people will create 80% of the work and is done in a workplace. And they say that is also the case in music and art and football stars. And then I sort of try to work this around a little bit and try to change that 80-20 to a 10-80-10 distribution, which is still around the Pareto distribution guidelines and rules. But when you look at that and you break it right down, we'll use 100 people. In that 100 people, you've got 10 at the very, very top, the pinnacle, and you've got 10 at the very, very bottom, like the arse end of the 10, arse end of the 100. And you can look at this in any field, I think, right? and have a little think about it yourself and come to see which one it may not be the case in, and it may be that there is one. And then the middle, that bell curve middle, is about 80% of us, and I think I'm in that 80%. Now, the majority of people in the middle of that, like right up there at 50, at middle 50, that's the general rule of thumb. Some are good, some are bad, some are productive, some are not, and they will tend to rock from either side in the tick-tock of life, the swings. Now, in the top 10, there's still a Pareto distribution in the top 10. So out of those 10 people, 2 will be super high achievers, like super, super high. The other 8 remaining in that top 10 will be and could easily be a super high achiever, but they're also in the lower end of that top 10. The 8 in the lower part could easily come back into the majority, and the people at the end of that majority could slip into the top 10%, which is about these money earners in the world. The top 5% aren't the top 5% all of the time. The others creep in, they fall out. It's the same either way. But the cream at the very top, they're pretty much steady there all the time, but they can slip. And it's the same in science. It's the same in healthcare. It's the same in everything. It's the same in people inside of ourselves. And then you go down to the arse end of that scale, down the very bottom here, and you've got 2 people out of the 100, loosely, will be psychopathic murderers, just criminal, horrible people, and will never achieve anything. 8 of those 10 are criminals and likely to be most of their life, could be a psychopath, a sociopath, or a mass murderer, but more likely will just be a gangster or a thief or whatever. then the levels start to creep up a little bit, right? So you get into the lower end of the 80%, and you can fall into that criminal mindset really quickly, and that horrible devious mindset and nasty person, and you sort of fall around. The goal for most of us in that lower, most of the people in the lower area, is to strive to get out of it, or they're so stuck in that mindset that they just can't get out of it. In their mind, they can't, so they will not make the effort to try. Those of us in this middle area, and I really think I'm sort of up there, I'm generally trying to head for the step forward, like the movement up. So my goal is to endeavor to be a little better every day, to make myself, so if I've an opportunity to do this, it's not going to make me feel good, so I'll do this one here instead of this one there, because the road up is always harder than the road down. So I like to struggle and work up instead of fall down, because tumble down this side and you're going to end up in the dark despair. And that's not just in every field of life, like the theme of today, it's also in your personality. Now, in yourself, sometimes you can be absolutely fantastic. You can be a really good person. You can be kind and considerate and compassionate, loving and supportive, and yada, yada. And on the flip side of that, you also know you can be a complete arsehat. You can do really nasty things and say some really cool, really cruel, vindictive things to people who mean a lot to you. And you can do both of these things. The goal of a human being, I believe, is to be somewhere in the middle and strive to be heading up to that niceness all the time, and understand that you will fall back, but you keep trying to go up. And when you do fall back, don't judge yourself and be critical and hurt yourself for doing it, because that just pulls you back into that despair, because it's just a spiral. Just the same as when you do a really good thing, if you blow your own whistle, then it's not a really good thing. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. So this Pareto distribution in self is reflected in your relationship and reflected in your community and your country. If a country was to understand that they can be really nasty and cruel, but are striving to be better every day, then they won't do stupid ass shit things. Anyway, that's my view on the Pareto distribution, and it's not a 80-20 for me, or a 10-1. It's a 1-8-1. It's a metric 69, by the way, for those of you who didn't know. All right, finishing off. 7 deadly sins. I think we all know what they are, so I'll let them come up to you, and I'll just have a little read, and you can have a little look at that. I'll do that. So they're basically lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. And look at it, you can see what they mean. We know, and they say this is a basic guideline, not just for Christianity. I know a lot of other things reference this as well. So they're referencing this as part of their guides to being a successful human being. In my world, and I'm not Christian or Catholic, or maybe I'm all of them. Anyway, but I understand that lust and having lust as your driving force is detrimental to self, your own self. Overeating, we absolutely know that that's dangerous to our health, and it doesn't allow productivity. Longevity. Greed obviously creates that need where you feel like you want to have something that's not yours, and you'll take it and you'll steal, which is probably not a good thing. Laziness is the sloth, which is laziness, in my view, is one of the root of all evil, because if you're lazy, you just simply can't do anything. And I mean that literally. You'd rather sit on the lounge and do something. Sometimes it's actually hard to do, so I think laziness is, and it should be here. Wrath. I think anger is necessary in the term they've got here. I think they've got anger. I think wrath is maybe a little bit different. In my mind, wrath is what you do. It's a little step above anger. Like you can be really angry, and then you take that somewhere where you fully let someone have it, and that's above anger. I think that's what wrath means. Uncontrolled feelings maybe of that, and you do something with that, and we shouldn't have that. Should is an opinion. It's not a good idea in my world to have any of these. Envy leads back to greed, because if you want something, you'll envy that person. You'll be greedy. You want it, and you'll take it. So the last one's the one that really gets me, right? Pride, and I hear it a lot. And I don't mean gay pride, because that's just full of shit. Proud to be something like that. I don't care if you're gay, by the way. I really don't care. But pride, and I use my wife as an example here, because she's fantastic. I'm building a caravan and helping a mate build a bus. And she'd come down to me and say, geez, David, you must be so proud of the work you've done. And I go, no. And she'd go, what do you mean? I go, I'm really happy with the work that I've done, but I'm so overwhelmingly grateful that you are proud of me. And I don't believe that we should have pride, self-pride. Absolutely, we shouldn't have it. Because I think we need to be happy with the work we've done. I look at the work that I've done, I go, could I have done better? 80-20, Pareto Distribution? Sure. If time allowed me to do things better, you'd do it better. But I look at the jobs in my van, in the bus, and everything that I do with my 80-20 distribution and go, yeah, look, I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy with the work that I've done. And I think that's really important that we get that. I won't focus on those things that I didn't do because that'll make me feel unhappy. Right? But when my wife comes down or my daughter or anyone says, geez, David, I'm really, really proud of the work you've done, that just makes me feel absolutely sensational. But if I say it to myself when I know I could have done better, then I feel, that's just so false. So when I hear people go out there, yes, I'm very proud of what I've done and you should be proud of the work you've done, I think they're putting it into the wrong area. How do you feel about the work you've done? I'm proud of you. That makes them feel happy. And feeling happy is a step forward in that progression of trying better next time to do better than you could have done. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you've done. That's fantastic. Oh, I'm so proud of the work I've done. It just don't sound the same. And if you don't have someone in your life to tell you that they're proud of you, or people in your life don't tell you that they're proud of you, then you might need to have that conversation with them. Hey, dear, would you mind if you see and say, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the work you've done. Ask them. They're not mind readers, guys. Ask them to tell you. And they'll tell you because they want to tell you. Anywho, moving on. Done. I'm finished. But before I sign off, hi, White Eyes. I know I've just seen you. I'm a bit slow on the uptake. Kookaburra, good morning to you too. All right, so just remember, I want to try and get this through to you so we all get this. Right? This is not about population explosion because I still don't believe we'll get much more than 9 million people on the world, or billion people on the world. But remember, on average, here it is here, in any minute, 107 people will die in the world. It's about 155,000 deaths every day. And in any minute, 266 people are born. 385,000 beautiful babies every day. I believe it's our responsibility to farewell those parting with honour and to welcome those arriving with peace. That's what we've got to do, guys. I think that's what, if you remember that anyone who passes, we need to honour them regardless of how they passed. And I mean anyone, don't care who you think and what you can bring up as an argument, because that's what you're going to do anyway. And anyone comes into this world, any beautiful baby, we need to welcome them with peace, love, and mung beans. And on that note, I'm done. Farewell, sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. Have an awesome weekend. Have an awesome week, I hope. It may not have been next week because we're in the middle of moving and doing things, but I'll have something. I've got something to talk about. And it's got it here right at the bottom. I'm not going to show you. But it's about swimming and martial arts. I need you to maybe put a bit of thought into swimming, maybe change swim, martial arts. Swimming, martial arts, swimming, self-protection, whatever you like. I'm going to hopefully remember to talk about that next time. But for now, peace, love, and mung beans. Have an awesome weekend, and remember to always enjoy your journey. Have a great weekend, guys. See you later.